I'm just happy to have found my great love. I mean, it's that simple.
Nicole Kidman has officially filed for divorce.
One of Hollywood's longest-standing couples, meticulously carving up their assets and sharing custody of their children.
What happens when 18 years of a picture-perfect Hollywood marriage suddenly explodes into a $325 million divorce battle? We're talking about Oscar-winning Nicole Kidman and country music legend Keith Urban, a couple once seen as untouchable. Now locked in a war over 11 luxury properties and a prenup so wild it's famously called the cocaine clause. This isn't just another celebrity split. It's shaping up to be Hollywood's most expensive, most scandalous divorce of the year. The secrets buried inside this breakup will make you question everything you thought you knew about love, loyalty, and fame.
That if you weren't at that event, maybe you don't have the same friendship group. It may never have happened.
Well,
never know.
You never know.
It's fate. It's the universe.
Anyway.
Forget those polished Hollywood excuses and fake smiles, because Keith Urban just dropped the real truth. And it's way more explosive than anyone ever imagined. The cover-up couldn't hide this bombshell forever.
Romantic drama.
Now tell them about the movie.
The truth sparks one burning question. Was their marriage ever real? Or has Nicole been hiding something this whole time? Let's dig in. Fans were left stunned when news broke of Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's divorce. They'd always looked like the perfect Hollywood couple. Red carpet smiles, sweet photos, and constant affection. But insiders say those smiles were just part of the show. Long before the announcement, the cracks had already started showing. Behind those Instagram perfect kisses, their relationship was falling apart. The pair, who tied the knot in 2006 after only a year of dating, had reportedly been living separate lives for months. This summer, Urban hit the road for his High and Alive world tour, while Nicole threw herself into filming Practical Magic 2 with Sandra Bullock. But sources claim the real tension went deeper. Nicole allegedly felt abandoned, that Keith had stopped supporting her comeback, making her wonder if the love she believed in was ever truly real.
We have such a strong, deep bond and love.
For years, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were sold to the world as Hollywood's golden couple. Flawless, loving, and picture perfect. They had the smiles, the red carpet hand-holding, the sweet words at award shows. Everything fans dream of. But behind all that glitter, things weren't nearly as perfect as they looked. Insiders reveal the fairy tale was all a performance, a carefully staged act to keep their image spotless, while the real story played out behind closed doors. The perfect marriage? Just smoke and mirrors. According to those close to the pair, their home life was nothing like the public imagined. Nicole and Keith were often like total strangers, barely speaking except for appearances. They could pull off being soulmates in front of cameras, but once the lights went out, the silence was loud. Friends say their house was filled with tension, long, cold pauses instead of laughter, with Keith losing himself in music while Nicole drowned in work. Two people sharing a roof but living completely separate lives.
Just celebrate the meeting.
Well, we celebrate the meeting, I hope every day.
Well, you know, have met each other. We always say that.
Some insiders claim all that public affection, the lingering kisses, the emotional speeches, the can't keep their hands off each other moments, wasn't real love at all, but a calculated move. It was more strategy than passion. One source even said they knew exactly what the public wanted to see, and they gave it to them, even while their home life was crumbling behind closed doors. As time went on, the cracks started showing. Nicole began appearing at high-profile events alone, no wedding ring in sight. Meanwhile, Keith was constantly on tour, performing night after night, rarely mentioning her on stage. The press kept selling the fantasy, but the magic was already fading fast. Behind the smiles and headlines, their relationship reportedly started to look more like a business deal than a marriage, an arrangement built on image, not intimacy.
I just really like him, and I love him.
And here's the real kicker. Word around Hollywood is that both Nicole and Keith kept up the distance on purpose because it helped their careers. Staying together in the public eye made them look stable, glamorous, and like the perfect power couple everyone adored. It was the kind of love story the industry could keep selling, even if the love behind it had long faded. But eventually, the act became too heavy to carry. The truth started leaking out, and those cracks burst right into the spotlight, even though the divorce headlines are fresh. Insiders whisper that Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban had already been living totally separate lives long before the public found out. From the outside, it looked like nothing more than a busy scheduled clash. Keith out on his High and Alive world tour, while Nicole buried herself in Practical Magic 2 with Sandra Bullock. But insiders say that was no coincidence. it was a carefully planned escape route. The work trips weren't about business at all. They were about survival. Allegedly, months before the announcement, the two quietly agreed to separate, living apart to avoid the constant tension at home. By doing so, they could keep the illusion of a perfect Hollywood marriage alive just long enough to soften the blow before the truth finally exploded.
We still wanted to try and make the marriage work. Well, not too long after that, we learned that she had kind of given up on that ever happening and had in fact filed for divorce.
The signs were there for anyone really watching. Nicole was spotted filming in New York and Boston, and fans noticed fast. That wedding ring was gone. That tiny detail sent gossip blogs into a total frenzy. Meanwhile, Keith played it cool, dodging any mention of Nicole during interviews, choosing instead to talk about his music and fans. Insiders claim his team was even told to shut down any questions about his wife, like the topic was completely off limits. That silence said more than words ever could. Now, Hollywood insiders are buzzing with another wild theory, that the couple planned their separation around their projects. Nicole allegedly didn't want her movie release drowned in personal drama, while Keith didn't want divorce talk messing with ticket sales. And get this, the official announcement dropped right after both locked in their biggest commitments of the year. Coincidence? Not everyone's buying it.
Of their 14 and 17-year-old kids, talking about possible child support, alimony, everything like that was already squared away, and they had both signed off on it. So,
in other words, those busy schedules might not have been innocent at all. They could have been the first phase of a perfectly staged split. Every move was planned, every red carpet smile rehearsed, and every awkward silence said more than either of them ever could. Nothing about it was random. It was all part of the script. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban had long been seen as the ultimate Hollywood power couple, always gushing over each other in interviews, praising their love like it was unbreakable. But according to insiders, when the cameras stopped rolling, the support vanished fast. Nicole, who's been riding high in her career, comeback with hits like Big Little Lies, 9 Perfect Strangers, and the upcoming Practical Magic sequel, was in her second golden era. This should have been her moment, and the time for Keith to stand beside her, celebrating every win. But instead, sources claim he grew more distant than ever, spending late nights jamming with his crew on tour instead of showing up for her milestones. The love story fans adored was quietly slipping away.
She's magical.
It takes a good woman, doesn't it?
It does, absolutely.
And here's where things get real messy. Word is, Nicole didn't just feel unsupported. She felt flat out undermined. Insiders claim Keith couldn't handle how brightly she was shining again. As Nicole started taking over headlines and ruling awards season, some say Keith grew distant, maybe even jealous of her success. Sources close to the couple allege Nicole confided in friends that Keith had completely checked out emotionally, showing zero interest in her scripts, her projects, or her wins. It's like he didn't want to be part of her spotlight anymore. But what really set tongues wagging were Keith's constant absences. While he was supposed to be touring, whispers say his time away wasn't as innocent as it looked. Rumors flew about late-night parties and private gatherings that Nicole was too embarrassed to confront head-on. She allegedly felt humiliated watching the man who once cheered her on now act like a stranger. And maybe worse, like he didn't want to be caught.
in June, out of the family home.
Adding even more heat to the fire, word is, Nicole's closest friends begged her to stop covering for Keith. They say she was exhausted from pretending her husband was her biggest supporter when, in reality, she faced Hollywood's spotlight all on her own. That quiet resentment, buried for years beneath flawless red carpet moments, reportedly became one of the biggest reasons their marriage finally crumbled. But let's not forget, Keith Urban's personal struggles didn't just appear overnight. Those cracks had been visible long before any divorce rumors hit. He's been brutally honest in the past about his battles with addiction, even checking into rehab just 4 months after marrying Nicole back in 2006. At the time, the world praised her as his savior, the woman who helped him find peace again. Now, almost 20 years later, the question everyone's asking is, did those demons ever really disappear? Or were they just hiding behind the glitz and glamour? Insiders claim Keith's recent world tour may have reopened some of those old wounds. While fans saw sold-out arenas and flashing lights, those close to him whisper about nights that had nothing to do with music. Rumors of wild after-parties, heavy drinking, and long stretches away from home have people wondering if Keith may have slipped back into dangerous old habits. Nicole, insiders say, felt blindsided when his behavior started to look eerily similar to his past struggles, the very patterns she thought were gone for good.
Are hearing that Keith Urban, at least this is the belief of the people who are in Keith and Nicole's circles, is involved in a relationship with another woman.
Nicole, known for her control and professionalism, allegedly found it impossible to deal with Keith's unpredictable behavior behind the scenes. Sources say she confronted him countless times, demanding answers about his late nights and sudden disappearances. But Keith brushed it off, claiming it was just life on tour. Still, the whispers kept coming. Insiders say Nicole grew uneasy about the crowd Keith surrounded himself with. Younger bandmates, industry tag-alongs, and party scenes that felt way too wild. There's no solid proof of anything, but the non-stop rumors about him slipping back into risky habits reportedly pushed them further apart. Some even believe Nicole's recent work obsession wasn't just ambition, it was escape. By burying herself in films and projects, she could distance herself from the chaos at home and quietly prepare for a life without him. In the end, the question stings. Did Keith's old demons wreck the marriage, or did the endless rumors finally break Nicole down? Either way, Keith's past kept haunting their future. But there's another theory swirling around: pure, unfiltered competition. In Hollywood, image is everything, and when one partner starts shining brighter, things can get tense fast. Nicole has always been top tier, an Oscar winner, Emmy favorite, and a powerhouse who keeps reinventing herself. From Moulin Rouge to Big Little Lies, and now the Practical Magic sequel, she's proven she can dominate any era. Keith, though hugely successful in the country scene, never quite hit that same worldwide fame. To his fans, he's a legend. But outside that circle, Nicole's star burns brighter. Insiders claim Keith felt the imbalance growing. And as Nicole's career hit new heights, the gap between them became impossible to ignore. Rumor has it, Keith got sick of being known as Nicole Kidman's husband instead of a star in his own right. That bruised ego allegedly turned into a major sore spot, especially when Nicole's name dominated award season while his tour barely made headlines outside country circles. But the jealousy didn't just go one way. Friends of Nicole claim she was growing tired of Keith's wild rock star routine, the nonstop parties, the late nights, the constant touring. It clashed hard with her polished, disciplined image. While she was grinding on serious, award-worthy projects, Keith was out living what looked like a bachelor's dream life. Insiders say Nicole eventually stopped seeing his tour schedule as just work and started viewing it as the perfect excuse, a way for him to dodge real responsibility at home.
Something that predated the separation? Is it something that has happened after the separation? That's the big question, and unfortunately...
The result? A toxic cycle of resentment that only grew worse over time. Keith reportedly felt overlooked and underappreciated, while Nicole believed he wasn't stepping up as a husband or a dad. What once looked like a balanced, supportive partnership slowly twisted into something else, a rivalry where neither would back down. And here's the wild part. Insiders claim that tension even crept into their public appearances. Behind the smiles and picture-perfect poses, subtle power plays were happening nonstop. Who spoke first in interviews? Whose projects got the spotlight? Who appeared more in control? It was all part of an unspoken battle. Those red carpet kisses everyone swooned over? Some say they weren't love at all, just another act in their ongoing power struggle. And while they kept up the image of a happy family, their two daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, may have felt the strain the most, caught in the middle of a marriage that looked like perfection, but was quietly falling apart. Behind their polished image, insiders whisper that parenting disagreements caused some of the deepest cracks in Nicole and Keith's marriage. Nicole, shaped by her Catholic upbringing, reportedly wanted her daughters to grow up with strong discipline, faith, and clear structure, the kind of upbringing that mirrored her own. Keith, though, was the complete opposite. His free-spirited, laid-back nature and constant touring clashed hard with Nicole's more traditional approach. While she pushed for routine and stability, he leaned into spontaneity and the artistic life. That clash, faith and structure versus freedom and flow, allegedly became one of the biggest sources of tension in their home.
think everything is motivated by wanting to take care of your children.
But the real breaking point, insiders say, was geography. Nicole had her heart set on spending more time in Australia, surrounded by her roots, family, and culture. She wanted her daughters to grow up grounded, connected to where she came from. Keith, on the other hand, refused to budge from Nashville, where his music empire and entire career are based. What started as a simple disagreement soon turned into an emotional standoff. Nicole reportedly felt he cared more about his career than family, while Keith believed she was trying to pull him away from the life he'd built in the States. The tension got so bad, sources claim they started clashing over major family decisions, even before the divorce talks began. And worst of all, their two daughters were often caught in the middle of it all, stuck between two worlds while their parents fought over whose version of home would win. With Nicole pushing for more time in Australia and Keith dragging things back to the US, their back and forth reportedly turned the household tense, and friends say even the kids could feel it. The tug of war between continents was exhausting for everyone. Then came the suspicious timing. Just as Nicole stepped back into the spotlight with Practical Magic 2, the divorce news exploded. Some gossip outlets claim she planned it that way, using the media buzz to boost her comeback. Others say Keith was simply done playing the supportive husband role and wanted to reclaim his own spotlight. Either way, the timing's got everyone talking. Because when those divorce papers hit, it felt less like coincidence and more like strategy. Now that it's official, everyone's asking, what's next? Rumors say Nicole's already eyeing major global projects in Europe, while Keith's lining up a massive tour to keep himself busy. Some Hollywood insiders even whisper that Nicole's ready to use this breakup as her big career rebirth, while Keith might turn his heartbreak into chart-topping hits. But the real mystery still lingers. Did Keith finally come clean to clear his name? Or is there an even darker truth Nicole's still hiding? Only time will tell. So what do you think about this shocking split? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.